Joining me today on the program is a licensed and insured home service professional. It's Bob Muller from Personal Plumbing. Bob, how are you?
Doing great, Joe. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yep. And I say licensed and insured because that's important. That's a topic I want to talk about today because there are some characters out there, and they are characters that aren't necessarily insured. They're not necessarily licensed. We call them chuck in a truck sometimes. And actually, a chuck in a truck could be insured and licensed,
Yeah.
but some of these people aren't. There's a problem out there with this, right?
Yeah, there is. And I can tell you that you'll usually find these guys lined up at your Home Depots and your big stores where you're shopping, and you see these guys prevalently. And they're willing to give you their card without like a license number on it, just a phone number on it. And if they don't have a website or something like that, it's usually a pretty good sign that these people are not licensed or insured. And it's a big problem in our industry because it really keeps pricing inconsistency out there. People don't really know what they should be paying for the type of services that we're providing. And then, of course, there's no repercussion for you, the homeowner, if something goes wrong within your home.
Sure. So a licensed plumber, if something happens, the homeowner has some recourse. They can contact the state, and the state says, yeah, we have a leash on them. We know who they are. But if they're not registered, if you will, it's like it's like a dog that has dog tags or not, right? You're supposed to license the dog, register the
Right.
dog. So if
Right.
something happens, you can say, this dog bit me. Oh, they belong to so-and-so. Well, when that contractor is not registered, we'll say, not, non-licensed, then there is very little recourse because the state's like, we don't know who they are. We can't find them. It's just some guy you wrote a check to. Good luck. And people want to save money because often they will get a lower quote from the uninsured, unlicensed home service provider, in this case, plumber.
Yes, and that's very common in a lot of the states that are what we call the right to work states, where anybody can go out and do X amount of work for up to a certain amount without a license. So there's a lot of these companies out there, or what they call themselves a company. They're not really a company. They're just somebody out there providing a service, and they're circumventing what the actual laws are. And that's why it's important to really hire somebody that's licensed and insured, because we do know law. We do know what we're supposed to charge up front, what we can take from you, what we can't do at your home. We know all these things because we've actually licensed to do these things. It's important because maybe it's not a dispute that you're having, but if you just don't like my services, you also have a recourse, against my bond and against other things if you don't feel like paying for the services that we provided. So we have a strong reason to make sure that we're performing our services very well for you, and you have a recourse to make sure that we're doing it.
Yeah. And I've been dealing with contractors for 20 years, checking them out, checking insurance licenses and references on them to make sure that the people who are in these communities have a great resource. And it's really important. Do not try to save money on a professional job. Now, if you don't care, fine. If you care about your money, your safety, the value of your home, and all of that, hire an insured licensed plumber. Bob, thank you so much for joining me today on the program. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe. Great topic.